We don't just have a routine and go, yep, this is our routine, everybody, and we just expect you to do it. We actually break those routines down into their component parts. We write it down, called a task analysis, and we plan to explicitly teach those steps to fluency. For example, it might be a routine in our classroom around mini whiteboard use during explicit instruction. So teachers might be having trouble with kids writing on the whiteboards when they're not meant to be. They might be playing with the texture and the rubber and doing a little drum on it. They might be holding them in the air when they're meant to be holding them under their chin, or a million other different low-level behaviours that cause stress for teachers. They reduce instructional time and they can really turn a lesson on their head and they can escalate. So as a proactive approach, we then teach routines to fluency. So, for example, at Dr. Lands, we've broken the routine mini whiteboard use down into its parts, and we created a written routine for this. And then we teach those steps. For example, how and when to wipe and park your whiteboard, what that looks like with examples and non-examples, what the teachers use as a cue or a prompt for students to wipe and park their whiteboard. So it's the same thing every time. How students need to chin that, what it looks like. It doesn't look like this, it looks like this. So examples and non-examples. And what the consistent cue is to do that. So we practice these routines with our students, providing feedback, reinforcement. And so when it comes to using mini whiteboards as part of our instructional time, we're not dealing with those low-level behaviours. This increases on-task behaviour. It increases time for students to have opportunities to respond, and it reduces the cognitive load for our kids because they're not thinking about how they've got to use their whiteboard. They're just focusing on the tasks that they're doing. So how do we do this and how do we implement this? Well, we do this for all our routines. We have turn and talk routines. We have entering the classroom routines. We have calls to attention routines, routines from transitioning from the floor to tables, how students access resources, entering and exiting assembly, and so on. And it's ingrained in the culture of our school. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, well, that's not ingrained in the classroom, the culture of my school, well, make it ingrained in the culture of your classroom. That's what you can do. So we teach these routines at the start of the year after any major breaks. And we also teach them when we notice that those low-level behaviours are creeping back in and the routine has got sloppy. We stop, we pause and reteach. That may take 3 minutes. It might take 10. But we see that as money in the bank because we reteach that and we make sure that it's to fluency, then we're going to get a more valuable lesson for the other part of the lesson.